students, in our today's session where we are going to talk about the poem entitled Words, written by Edwin Thumbo. Edwin Thumbo is considered to be the most renowned and distinguished poet of Singapore. He is basically a Singaporean poet, and if we talk about a brief background information of this poet, he actually completed his graduation in English and History from University of Malaya, and he also worked in the civil services for some time. He began to work in the University of Singapore in 1967 as an assistant lecturer, a job that he most coveted. He received his PhD from the University of Singapore in 1970. He eventually went on to head the Department of English Language and Literature in 1979. The first work that he published was in 1972, a collection of nursery rhymes titled Child's Delight. In 1977, he published Gods Can Die, a collection of poems for adults, and for which he was awarded the National Council of Singapore Book Award in 1978. He was also appointed the Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences until late 1991. Ulysses by the Marlian is considered to be his foremost work, where he has used myth and history in relation to the classic Greek wanderer Ulysses to explore issues of the poet's relationship with his homeland. His other collections of poetry include Rebirth, which was written in 1956, Gods Can Die, 1977, A Third Map, 1998, and Still Traveling in 2008. If we talk about the theme or the basic theme of his poetry is actually recognized as a reflection of Singapore's unique quest for identity, as well as for the portrayal of the relationship of the individual and the mighty state. He was also awarded the National Book Development Council of Singapore Book Award for poetry 3 times, in 1978, in 1980, and 1994, and he also has won several other prestigious awards. Our today's poem, Words, that actually highlights here the immense importance of words in our life. So the poet has actually here he conveys his basic ideology that words have immense importance in everybody's or in human beings' life. They have tremendous impacts on the listeners, and how words can affect our relationship in one or the other way. So let's see the text of this poem, Words. Words are dangerous, especially the simple kind you leave behind for others. For undesirable relatives and assorted purposes, they are understood simply, edited, taken with a kind of air, a careful disregard. Their plainness complicates. So here the poet has given his basic belief on the one of the most important aspects of human lives, which is the utterance. We can say the words which are uttered by anybody, and how words can reflect one's persona, one's personality, or one's individual reflection we can get through the spoken words, and how words can be dangerous. So here the poet is saying that words are dangerous. It means the words can be dangerous. When? How? Especially the simple kind you leave behind for others, for undesirable relatives and assorted purposes. That when somebody utters, when the words are uttered by people, they can be dangerous. When the simple kind you leave behind for others, when you utter something about someone, then those words can be misrepresented by undesirable relatives or friends for distorted purposes, and they are understood simply edited, taken with a kind of air, a careful disregard. So words, when you simply utter something about somebody, of maybe your relatives or your friend or anybody, then they are they can be misunderstood, they can be misrepresented by people, and they can be edited. It means they can be manipulated in either way, in any way, taken with a kind of fear, a careful disregard. Their plainness complicates. The simplicity of the words can be complicated when they are spoken in front of some people. They can be misrepresented. So here poet is uh, mm, highlighting the fact that how words have the power to reveal one's state of mind, one's own personality, when they can be manipulated by other people, and thus their simplicity can be complicated. It can be complicated. It can also create complex debate. It can create complex uh, mm, uh, state of mind, or we can say here that sometimes when words become dangerous when they are misrepresented, and so one must be chosen the words with a great care. So what is uttered must be chosen with great care, otherwise they can be manipulated and can use problems. They can hurt to somebody, they can create problems grievously, they can hurt grievously, or they can wound scar someone for long time, because once words are out they cannot be taken back. So words once spoken, they cannot be erased, and the impact of words on different people varies as it depends on their understanding and the manner they conceive it. So in this way words can be dangerous, the words can be deceptive, they can mislead others, or words can be corrupt or injure others when they edit it, when they manipulate it. Now when you say, tell him please that the anger has come to pass, that friendship is not maimed, or please do come, but after the favor has put aside, when you mean to be polite, careful, explicit, considerate, circumspect, adopting the proper tone, you are likely to be quoted as saying he won't. So here the poet is further reiterating or further elaborated his idea that words have the power to reveal the state of one's mind. So words should be conveyed through proper tone and gestures. So when anger has come to pass, that friendship is not maimed. When angry words, when somebody utters something about some people or someone in a very angry mood, then those angry words can be hurtful. When the anger cools down and one begins to act like a considerate, careful, explicit, conscious person, and he then when somebody very honestly adopts the proper tone when its anger gets down, his anger cools down, and one is one begins to communicate in proper tone and gesture, or in good mood, then it can be misrepresented by others as well, that you are likely to be quoted as saying he won't. So in this way, the words have greater power, in the way that words have great impact on the listeners. And when you try to your best, when you become conscious and you try to your best to convince the other person, but it is possible that you may not be treated as a reliable person. So they will say that, it won't be possible, you won't do like that, or you won't be that. So in this way, words have their greater importance and their greater impact on the listeners. And words are neither valid, merciful, nor bad in themselves, nothing unless used, urged, imported into dialogue, become becoming part anger, part laughter, praised, adding to the mood and gestures. Words are words, except for us, they are not personalities, we make them into poems. Words are neither valid. So, here again, the poet is saying the basic idea that words are simply words. Words are neither valid, words are not bad in themselves. Words have nothing useful unless they are used or uttered collectively in a very meaningful dialogue. When they are used, words are nothing in itself, in themselves. Words only become important when they are collectively used in a meaningful dialogue. Only then they can become the part of or part of the personality or the persona which is delivering his which is who is delivering something in a with proper tone, with proper mood and gesture. Only then they can become the part of the personality of the person, of the speaker. So words can become part anger, part laughter, bruised, adding to the mood and gesture. So here the poet is conveying that words in themselves are not corrupt, or words are not offensive, but it is the context that makes them so. They are nothing unless communicated in the form of proper dialogue, or in the form of dialogue along with proper tone, mood, and gestures. So, words are words, words are simply words. Except for us, they are not personalities, we make them into poems. So, the poet is saying that words are not personalities, words are simply words. But for poets, except for poets, words are a part of the poems for expression of their feelings, and it depends on them how they use them. And so the poet is reasserting here that words are important part of the personality of the speaker, only in the case of poet. Here he is reasserting this idea, his basic concept, that words are words can become important part, or only when they are used in the poem, when the poet has made words as a medium of expression of their imagination, of their feelings. Only then they can on in particular way, in particular the only then they can become the part of poems of the poet. So in this way, in the form of their deliverance, they can be part of the poems of the poets, and it depends on the poet how they use them. So only in this way they can become more important, they can become the part of the persona of the poet as well. So here this is the whole gist of this poem, or we can say the whole idea of this poem, of which the poet here is trying to convey the immense importance of the words in our life, and the tremendous impacts of words on the listeners as well. So I hope you have understood the poem well. So thank you, students.